My past broadcasts on Mixer are having an issue right now, so I think part of the reason is because I didn't delete my backlog as I was streaming. So last night I streamed. The last episode in my past broadcast is 22. Episode 22, which was about the Forsworn conspiracy. So, I continued playing after that. And I played up until... I played like for another 3.5 hours, I believe it is, on my... In my save files it says how long it's been from one save file to another. And that is unfortunately... And 22 is the last one that showed up, but I know I streamed 23 and 24. They just didn't show up in my past broadcasts. And I believe the reason for that is I didn't clear out my my past broadcasts, like my week-old broadcast, and I stream quite a bit. I do. And so over the past week and a half, I've streamed more than so I streamed up to 23 and 24. I had 23 and 24 done last night. 24 was the latest one I was was right before midnight, right before I went to bed. And so by now it should have been on there. Hell, it should have been on there shortly after, but it never showed up. So I'm thinking what happened was because of my backlog, because of what because I didn't delete all that backlog, it stopped recording my past broadcast. Or it stopped recording my broadcast for future to watch later. And in doing so, I lost about 3.5 hours worth of progress. Now, the good news is, I know the exact save file that I would have started out on in episode 23. I can show that to you right now. Go here to Brian Chambers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything up until that last save file. So what you see here is you see some of the stuff I did. We did Bruca's Leap. We did basically what we were doing is we were clearing bounties in the Reach. And between where I was and where I was going to be, I lost progress. And when I say I lost progress, here it is. This is where we left off in episode 22. At the end of episode 22, I got arrested and sentenced in a mine on a life sentence from doing the Forsworn conspiracy. And as you can see here, number 15 is 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 4 minutes later. Now these are where the character started, but this is where episode 23 would have started. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to talk here a little bit longer. And then, while I'm deleting these old character files, because I'm not going to go back to these other old characters. So I just kind of want to get this stream, let this stream go for a couple minutes. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to end it and give it some time and see if this test stream shows up on Mixer. if it does, then I know I've fixed the problem, and I would just have to replay those 3.5 hours, those about 3 hours worth of gameplay with. It's only about one stream, and I know what I did during that stream, but it's leaving me at this kind of spot where it kind of killed my love for the character. So, what I think I'm going to do, and if this shows up in the past broadcast, I'm going to upload this to YouTube so it goes with the other videos, and I'm going to say, and it's going to be called Episode 23 Update. An update. An update, and it's basically going to be saying, well, it's basically going to be addressing the fact of why I'm not doing, if I decide to do another character or whatever. And so, yeah. So, as of this moment, if you are watching this video, I don't think my Son of Skyrim series is dead, but it's going to take a little bit of time for me to want to play it again, and plus I need to figure out if it's worth it. If it is worth it, but is it possible for me to go back to it? So what I think instead what we're going to do is I'm going to start a new character tonight, if this stream does show up, and I've already set up the mod list back to where I have the economy speech overhaul, and my idea for a new character is he is a lowly beggar. And let's go here. And so one of the big changes, and I've tried to download other mods and it's not letting me do it right now, and I've had this issue before, and the only way I know how to fix it is to clear the whole mod list, and that is something I am not prepared to do right now. I am not prepared to go back and download all these mods just for a new character, especially since we are toying with the idea of going back to Brian Chambers. So it's an issue, but it's an issue I'm gonna try to work around. So the idea is, I want to see this stream, when I end it, show up in past broadcasts. Because if it does, then I know it's fixed. If it does, and if that's the case, I'll come in here and I'll disable economy overhaul and its mods. And then I'll also switch my star back over to Thieves, which is what I'm using for him. I'm just using the Thieves and Assassins for light armor, swords, those type of rewards. The other mod I did try downloading was, I got Tougher Dragons, but I would rather have Mighty Dragons because then the dragon fights last 15-20 minutes, and I don't mind that. So, yeah. There are a couple updates to some of these mods, and again, I don't want to risk fucking my mod list, so to speak. So, for now, guys, and until later, I am Caleb Plays, and that's what's going on. That is what's going on. And it is gonna take me some time to figure out what I want to do. So I do want to stream again tonight, and it'll probably be a new character, but for now I think Brian Chambers is lost in the reach, and we know that the only mods we would have to disable or re-enable is any mod associated here with economy overhaul and speechcraft improvements, EOSI. Buying cost are higher at lows. speech level. Price will be 1.5 with no speech skill thing, but will be the same with speech skill of 100, making speech skill a more interesting skill. Technically, the maximum price multiplier goes from 3.3 to vanilla, minimum price. So yeah, that's what I would like to try here. We are going to try basically a poor person. And then what I've done is we still have rich merchants on, so they'll still have all the money in the world. We just won't. And it'll get that kind of balance. So look out for that character here on Mixer or on YouTube within the next day or two. So this has been about 11 minutes of just letting you guys know what's up. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to close this. I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to give it a couple minutes, and then I'm going to check my past broadcasts, because generally speaking, my past broadcasts show up within minutes of being done. But unfortunately, I have this humongous backlog, and I've been working on deleting it all, and I got to learn to keep that at, say, 6 to 8 videos, because the backlog I had was 30, maybe. And that kind of makes sense as far as what we were doing. So, as you can see here, we still have Brian Chambers here. And then I have 2 options here. I either forego what happens in Cinnamine at level 44 and say, hey, we're level 45 and we're in the reach, and we lost some video progress. Or I come back and I restart it from there. When I do that, I will turn off EOSI and things like that. But for tonight, it's probably going to be a new character. So until then, guys, I will be back later with my other character, but I need to figure this out and see if my past broadcasts actually show up. Because as much as I love streaming, I want to upload these to YouTube. And it's going to be... And if I can't upload them, if I can't get the past broadcasts, I can't upload them. So... expect another stream tonight. Probably within the next 30 minutes or so. And it'll be a new character. So, until then, guys, I am Kalo Plays, and this was just an update on my True Son of Skyrim series. So, thank you. We'll see you later.